This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
A good Wednesday morning. I'm Deb Goodrich, reporting from my High Plains kitchen once more. So glad you could join us. Have my coffee. Hope you do too. Because you're going to need some energy to get through today's show. We got so many cool things going on. Dr. Jake and I just got back from a wonderful trip to Pampa, Texas, where we visited our friends at the White Deer Land Office Museum. Phenomenal. They are doing a lot of renovations, telling the story of the Red River War. I think they will be the only institution to tell that story from start to finish. And lest you think that's all about Texas, Kansas has some pretty incredible connections to that story. So we will share more about that on another episode of Around Kansas. We, of course, are getting ready for our Trails to Rails celebration at the Butterfield Trail Museum in Russell Springs and the Fort Wallace Museum at Wallace on July 13th. We will actually be running stages on the old Smoky Hill Trail as we revive the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. And people can get tickets for $175 while they last. They are going quickly. We have 4 stagecoaches running that trek. And they will have cavalry escort. And it's going to be a pretty spectacular photo op, whether you choose to ride on the stage or not. So send me an email or call the museum for more information. Also, a couple of very special guests for that event will be Western writer Monty McCord, who I think may bring some books to sign and maybe have a few remarks, and our dear friend Peter Scirocco. And many of you will recall Peter from the movie Tombstone. Yes, that classic. The only film I have ever gone to see in the theater 3 times. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, but I went to the theater 3 times to see it. Nothing else. So, yeah, it's just a classic. Now, the book that I am, get rid of those, that I am currently engrossed in, War Party in Blue, Pawnee Scouts in the U.S. Army, by Mark Vandelot, and I'm so sorry, Mark. If you are listening, please call or email me and correct me on the pronunciation of your name. This was published a few years ago by the University of Oklahoma Press, which is an outstanding source for history of the American West. University of Oklahoma is unsurpassed. So the Pawnee were often scouts for the U.S. Army and an undertold story in the Plains Indian Wars. And this year marks the 150th anniversary since the massacre of some Pawnee scouts who had been discharged from the American Army, and they were actually passing near Salina and were killed along Mulberry Creek. And the one of the post surgeons at the time actually dug up the bodies and cut off the heads and had them sent to Washington. And this is how many of the Native American remains that fell under the Repatriation Act in the 1970s, this is how they were collected, many of them. Just one of the most tragic stories in American history, and but a very, very important one. And the service of the Pawnee Scouts is really well told in this book. So I really encourage you to get this. And it's also a great time to plug the conference, the Smoky Hill Trail Conference, coming up this fall at Wallace in October. Our friend Brenda Culbertson, who is the astronomer and author extraordinaire, is actually going to be speaking on the Pawnee tribe and how their belief system was based on the stars. And it's just fascinating. So if you would like to hear Brenda speak and the other fantastic lineup that we have going on, just let us know. All right, folks, got a great show. Stay with us.